Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to Energy First Golf. Today we're doing a live stream. Um, Everything looks like we're getting a little hang of this whole live stream system. We got two cameras and we have the phone set up so I can communicate with Jason on the other end because the COVID. So we're not in the same room, and then so things are working pretty good. Hopefully, you guys can hear us, and also the picture and the audio is pretty good. If you guys have any questions or got problems with the audios and videos, let me know and I will tell Jason because I got his voice amplified. And also I got this screen back here. I've noticed that from our previous live stream, I think because there's just so much green and the picture is just not that great. For some reason, the autofocus isn't right. So I'm starting putting this background so that way we get a little bit more better pictures in the hue, the color. All right, so enough said. So at this moment, I just want to take the time to really wish Tiger Woods a speedy recovery. You know, let's not worry about golf right now. I'm so glad he's still alive. He's an icon for the golf world of golf. So, he's with his family, speedy recovery, and hopefully, I hope, you know, fingers crossed that he comes back, you know, but that's just, we'll see. But at the moment, I'm just very thankful that, he's still around and he's just got some fights, he's got to deal with a lot of recovery stuff. All right. It's very unfortunate, but it happened. All right. So I just want to get that out of the way. And now, ever since he's got an accident, so on the internet, the Facebook, Twitters, all these social medias, there's a lot of, this GOAT debate, the greatest of all time golfers. There's always there, this particular topic. Um, the truth is, we don't like to get into this type of topic. I think it's kind of pointless and waste of time to debate it. Now, obviously, it is a great um, topic. You can sit around with your friends, have a couple drink, and just talk. Have a conversation. I think it's fun. But for us, I don't see the point talking about who is the greatest of all time. You know, I simply say, why can there be both? Why can there be two greatest of all time? Maybe even three goats. So really, and I'm actually personally, I'm not really good at debating. Also, I just like to make statements. So debating is just not my forte, and I'm not good at it. So I think there's more than one goat, and they're all great. And also, it just happened in a different era, different time. Who's to tell? Because you just can't, just can't turn back the time. Debate is just just arguing, but there's really no any type of conclusion or results based on the debates, and it's just all based on your personal opinion and your personal fandom and who you really like. Of course, you're gonna have guys who's a little bit older. Is gonna like Jack more, and younger guys, of course. Tiger is the man. So the reason why I say it just because I just want to throw out there because most people will ask me, who do you think is a better player? I think they're both great. All right. So enough said. So the hopefully 2021 is going to be a very good year for Energy First Golf, Energy First Impact later. We do not teach you how to hit ball. We do not talk about impact position. Okay, this is a fundamental principle of teaching that's based on energy first. Okay, I know a lot of you guys would say, hey, There's a lot of technology out there. We even have FlyScope. We have FlyScope. We've got 30 different sets of numbers, but we can talk about it. But it won't help you improve if you fixate on it. If you so adamant knowing those numbers. I only tell a lot of my students and clients, if you are in the third stage, which is the spin and trajectory control, then we can talk about that. But if you don't know how to control spin, you don't know how to control trajectory, means the ball flight, it's really pointless to talk about the actual impact. But if you want to know, we have FlyScope. I can set you up and I can show you the numbers and also talk about why those numbers are the numbers, the reason behind what's producing those numbers. We can talk about that. But I do believe most amateurs, you're not going to benefit from that type of data if you don't know how to control your body or to make changes. So that's that. All right. 2021 is going to be really good. The hopefully this COVID-19 thing is going away, and I know a lot of you guys, if you can get the chance to get the vaccine, get them. It'd be great. Um, Hopefully this thing's gonna go away, and we're going to be started traveling. We already got so many places and people that want us to go there and travel and start this FO Golf. FO, obviously FO Golf stands for Energy First, Impact Later. This coaching certification. So I'm really, as a team, me and Jason and other people, a whole bunch of us are very exciting about this endeavor and this future. And then hopefully I get to see you traveling around the world, talk to you guys, and really, it's just for me. It's really. I think I'm very fortunate. I can do this, and this is just my passion: teaching golf, playing golf, and doing this for fun. So I think I'm very fortunate, and also very grateful, very exciting. All right, so today, before we start this, getting some questions. I got a lot of pushbacks on this particular video. I know I did a video about this one plane swing, you know, Mo Norman one plane swing. The truth is, it's nothing new. I mean, it's just one type of what I call the external swing or external swing mechanics. We already know you can name names. Well, the truth is, every tour player swings differently. There's not one player is the same, identical. So you can literally say this Dustin Johnson swing, right? Rory McIlroy swing, Tiger Woods swing, Jack Nicklaus swing. Let me teach you. It's almost like, hey, let me teach you Jack Nicklaus swing. I mean, what does that mean? I mean, really, right? Or let me teach you Dustin Johnson swing. Well, what does that mean? I mean, everybody's got different body type. I mean, Mo Norman, he just simply sets up differently. He likes to do this, get the arms really out, one plane. I mean, it's not, to me, it's nothing fancy. It's just, that's his body type. He likes to do that. And also, it's all external, right? When I say external mechanics, just means, your arm position is going to be different because you're set up. But the idea is that we already talked about this. It's not about good or bad, okay? You still need energy. You still need correct rotation, and you still need to understand the release. Okay. So, I mean, a lot of people want to argue with me or talk about, oh, I don't know. No, I don't swing like Mo Norman, and I don't teach Mo Norman swing. But what we teach, y'all know already. We teach energy first, impact later. It doesn't matter what type of swing you have. You can copy Tiger Woods. You can copy Jack. You can copy Mo Norman, and you can copy whoever you want. It still need energy first. So I don't need to argue with you guys about the nuances, the small things. Oh, your arms in the right place needs to be here. Your legs needs to be there. That's fine. It's just different type of external body movement, external body mechanics. We only teach energy first. So there's really no argument there. If you say that I don't know anything about Mo Norman swing, I don't, because I don't swing like Mo Norman. But I'm just telling you, there's external mechanics that he does that most amateurs will have a hard time learning it, because you have a hard time relax the body, and then it creates a lot more upper body tension. And also with this type of setup, for most amateurs, they will have a lot more tendency to rotate the shoulders, not the core. So, and again, I have clients that came to me say, "Hey, I want to stay with this one plane swing." I say, "Great, I'm not going to change it." And if you come to me say, "I want to do a stack and till," I say, "Fine, I'm not going to change it. I'm only going to look at how your body is producing the correct energy. That's all." Or some people say, "Hey, I want to do this Jack Nicklaus swing, lift my foot up." I say, "Fine, that's totally fine. If you want to lift your left foot, fine. And how do you produce correct energy?" That is the questions. All right. So a lot of people always want to talk about, again, this is a very funny thing. I don't know. I mean, obviously, y'all know I'm Chinese. In China, there's Shaolin Kung Fu. I don't know if you guys know about, Shaolin Kung Fu, a different style Kung Fu. There's tiger fist, and there's the crane style, or the what was the animal? The 螳螂? No, the what is 螳螂那个汉阳? I forgot. The oh man, I just that creature, that insect. I totally forgot what's that name. There's so many different type of movements, but overall, you still need correct energy. So man, that's gonna bug me, right? 螳螂, man. No, not cricket, not centipede. Oh man, I just totally lost that English word. 螳螂, man. Yeah, it's one of those that eats bugs, big old green animal, big eye. Mantis. Jeez. Man, I'm telling you, man, my brain right now, because we've been doing the English channel and the Chinese channel. My Chinese is actually improving. I know it sounds crazy. A lot of people, a lot of you Americans, look at me like, "Hey, he is Chinese," but yeah, my Chinese is actually improving because of my Chinese channel, and now I hope my English is still improving. I'm still studying English and Chinese. There's always something new to learn regarding language. So, Mantis, that's it. So again, there's in the Shaolin Kung Fu, there's so many different types. But guess what they learn? In Chinese, we call the internal energy. Any type of movement, either be the tiger or the crane or the mantis or the snake or the drunken style, you all need to learn the basic energy first. So everybody's gonna. It's the same idea. You either learn Mo Norman, Tiger Woods, Jack, right, or Arnold Palmer, whoever. But you all need the same thing. You all need energy first. So there's no debate with us. You can come to me all day long arguing about energy first, impact later. Zero debates. I say that's fine. You can do whatever you want to do with external. What is your internal energy? How do you produce correct energy? So we're gonna stop right there with that particular argument, or really, let's try to make some statement, because I really don't think there's really any argument with energy first, impact later. Okay, because with golf, the ball is not moving. You have to create energy first, and impact would happen naturally if you create energy correctly. So anyway, today I feel like I took a nap this afternoon. I feel I have a lot of energy today. So I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing. Jason, do we have any? How many viewers we got? We have.
I think we're around 5 to 10 people coming in and out.
Okay, that's good.
We don't really have questions right now, but I guess why don't you tell people more about our plan after COVID is over with traveling and the certifications?
Okay, that's very good. So basically, Ever since we started the channel, there's a lot of support with the idea of this. I call it the correct way of teaching golf. Uh, you can always hit the ball. You can always make contact, but it doesn't mean you're playing golf. Because when you're playing golf, you have to make sure the ball is going to a target. Your body's creating energy that's propelling to the target. So we're getting a lot of support right now, and especially with the Asian community. So I went to Texas last year in October. Met up with a whole bunch of fans and supporters and who people believe in our system, and also there are many groups of small groups of people in all over the world. Like I'm talking to a gentleman in Canada, Vancouver, and talking to someone in Malaysia, and talking to someone in Singapore, and also the people in Japan. So what we're going to do is that we already planned out. We basically will have 4 levels of certification. Okay, we already know, if you guys follow this channel, we talked about power struggle, speed and distance control, and spin and trajectory control. So those are 3 different levels. And then there's a master's level, the 4th level. But overall, right now, I believe, just based on the way how most amateurs, you guys learn golf, most people is going to, really, most people, you will linger and stay around the power struggle stage. This is one of the reasons why most people don't improve, because you constantly have a struggle of a power. You're not producing the right energy. So that's the first level. The second level is what we call the spin and trajectory control. So the spin and trajectory control level is based on you understanding, oh, I have all these clubs in my bag. I have 14 clubs in my bag, and then I'm able to control distance with each clubs. But that's very important, because golf is not about max out the distance. It's about controlling distance, right? So that's the second level of certification. And then the third level, which is what we talked about in the beginning of today's live stream, we talked about the uh, spin and trajectory control, the spin and trajectory control stage, which is the third stage. It means manipulating the ball flight, hitting draws, hitting fades, hitting high balls and low balls, and those type of things. But the truth is, you are not able to do all of that if you don't have a correct energy, if you don't know how to distance control. So those are the things, and that's the reason why we talked about 3 different stages, also 3 different level of certification. And I think most people, you will have a lot of fun. The first level, the first stage, it's the most important. Just really understand where the energy is coming from, how do you produce the energy, and what are the things that you're not supposed to do, and what are the very bad cliches of golf instructions. Because what we want to do really in the future is having a lot of, we call the FO Golf certified coaches around the world, to really implement the correct ideas and correct system to teach people to learn golf. Okay. Again, some people say, I learn on my own. I'm okay. I can learn on my own. I say that's fine. Okay, but you got to understand the difference between, are you learning how to hit the ball, or are you learning how to swing? You can still play golf by hitting the ball, but again, our job, our system, we're teaching system. So our main focus, and our really only focus, is teach people how to swing. And a lot of amateurs, you get the wrong idea, because you feel like if you hit the ball, that's a swing. But the truth is, that's not a golf swing. If you're hitting the ball, you're just hitting the ball. You're not playing with a swing. You're just playing with a golf hit. And this is one of the reasons why, if you're hitting the ball, you're not going to be consistent. Okay, and that's the reason why the USGA, the average score is still 90 to 95. Okay, I mean, that's one of the reasons why, because most people are not consistent, which, in my honest opinion, is because most people don't swing the golf club. Most people hit the ball. So the first level, really, when you guys look into energy first, impact later, the first level, what we call the power struggle, it makes a lot of sense. Once you learn it, once you understand it, then it's much easier to move on to the next step, the speed and distance control. Then the next step, okay? Because I do believe most teaching systems in the world, I call them systems, but I wouldn't use the word system on those way of teaching. A lot of those are just quick tips, you know. They put everything together. They say, well, if you have a natural swing, if you have a natural fade, just hit fade. But that's not true. I don't believe there's a natural swing that fade swing. It's just because most people don't know how to hit draw, and just because most people don't even know how to control it. They just say, well, I have a natural swing. This is my natural swing. I have a fade ball. And I don't believe that's a swing. Okay. But if you are controlling the fade, if you say, hey, I can control the fade and I can control the distance, and that's fine. More power to you. That means you do have a fade swing and you're able to use that fade swing and shoot consistent score, and that's totally fine. All right. But again, from the teaching perspective, we must teach you correctly. There are guys maybe, hey, I'm a genius. I'm able to play a fade ball all my life, and I can shoot in the 70s. I say that's great, good, very good. I'm happy for you. But most amateurs are not able to do that, just because, most people, again, if you started playing golf as an adult, it is very difficult for you to learn golf correctly. It means harness the correct energy. Okay, if you learn it very young, it's completely okay. And the truth is, on this subject, I want to actually dive into it. I just watched recently, just a couple days ago, I watched Brando Chambly. He's talking about how most tour players that he knows, like Rory, Colin Morikawa, and they use interlock. And he actually doesn't know why. He's just saying that, oh, maybe that's a good thing. But the truth is, the interlock golf grip, if you started playing golf very young, you will have tendency use interlock and stay with it. And most of those tour players start golf very young and they stay with that grip. But for adults, see again, what Brando Chambly doesn't realize is that learning golf as a kid, as a pre teen, before puberty, as a kid, from 3 to 12, and learning golf as an adult is very different. And mind you, Brando Chambly himself started playing golf very young, and he used to be on the PGA Tour. So it drives me crazy when he doesn't. He's like, oh, maybe that's the trend now. Everybody use interlock, and before everybody use overlap. Again, it's not about interlock and overlap. We energy first golf. Everything we talked about is purely based on from the angle of teaching golf and teaching adults specifically. Adults. If you started playing golf before you were 12, I'm telling you, most of you are pretty good. I'm assuming that you didn't stop playing it. If you started playing it before the age of 12 and continue to play it, chances are you're pretty good if you don't stop. So that's something. It really, if you guys watch the golf channel, watch how Brando Chambly talk, and not just him. He was just the example. A lot of them really started golf very young, or some of them don't. Maybe Rich Lerner, maybe he didn't start playing golf young, but a lot of them play golf started young. They really don't know how to teach or the idea of how do we implement a correct learning system for adults. Okay. I mean, you cannot tell people, oh, do whatever you want to do. Just use interlock, overlap with 10 fingers, everything's fine. No, it's not everything's fine. When you're talking about learning system, you got to learn it based on 1, 2, 3, 4. You got to learn it based on A, B, C, D. There's got to be a system. Okay. And that's why we at Energy First Golf, we're very proud to tell you guys we are a golf learning and teaching system. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, if you could say, hey, I'm really confused about what you're talking about, look, watch from the beginning. Okay, watch every video from the beginning. We don't have quick tips. Or contact us, email us. We can do swing analysis, and we usually will break down the swing based on those three stages. Do you have power struggle? What is your distance control? Spin and trajectory. And the truth is, I have done thousands of swing analysis. Most amateurs, we don't even need to talk about the second stage, the speed and distance control. Most people are in power struggle. So if you're in a power struggle, I highly recommend use the overlap grip because you need to train your lead arm, which is your left arm, for lefties, which is your right arm, to be more stronger. So it's a no-brainer. Go ahead, use your right hand, put all the fingers on it, right? Because if you do that, if you lock it, there's too much tension in here. I'm just telling you from based on my teaching experience. You have too much tension in here, and you will use your right hand. So Brando Chambly go, man, I don't know why. I think most adults should use it a lot, or this is the new trend. I say no, it's not. It's just because you don't know how to teach. It doesn't mean it's a new trend. It doesn't mean everybody should learn use interlock. If you're learning golf, you got to use overlap first, and then eventually you can go to interlock once you know how to release. Meaning you can use your left arm release, right arm release, or synchronization release. Means release with both arms. So those are the craziest thing I'm telling you. It's so crazy about golf instructions that everybody are always looking at from a professional golfer's perspective of what they do. No, you don't. You don't try to teach someone to drive a car like a professional race driver how they drive a car, right? If you teach your son to drive a car, or teach anybody to drive a car, say, hey, don't look at the professional race drivers. You're not supposed to learn how they drive. Drive slow. So I'm very confused about golf instructions. Like, why do all these instructors saying learn from the pros? No, you don't learn from the pros. You learn from energy first, impact later. You learn from energy first golf because this is a learning system, right? Think about it. If you first drive a car, you don't go, well, let me drive it like a maniac. Let's drive really fast. You don't do that. So you don't drive like a professional racer. Okay. When you first learn driving a car, you drive like a normal, everyday amateur, a person that's driving a car. So why would you want to learn golf based on what a professional is doing? I mean, that to me it never makes sense. That's the reason why energy first, impact later is the correct way to learn it. Now again, most people say, "Oh, that's too much. That's too much stuff. Are you talking about gibberish?" I say, "Well, that's fine." Again, we have to be able to true to our core. We have to say this is our teaching system. And energy first, impact later is the only correct way to teach golf and learn golf. Right? You okay, Jason?
Yeah. We have a question, so if you want to jump into that.
Okay. So again,
Yes.
just wrap it up because again we're gonna have so much. We're going to have a certification process this year, and you will start to see a lot more if you're on our news, newsletter groups, Facebook groups, our WeChat groups. We're going to keep everybody updated. All right, Jason, we have a question.
Yeah, so first, someone named James Duckworth saying that the first thing you taught me was to stop the interlock grip. Wonderful suggestion and have made a difference for me.
James, all right. Thank you, James. Appreciate that. Yes.
And the question is from Jess. Jess is asking, I would like to know a good golf simulator for home use.
A good golf simulator. To be honest with you, that's a good question, but also we are not. I'm not really an expertise in that area, but I do have experience with simulators. I think I do believe there's three different areas. Do you use it for more of a casual use, or do you really want to use it to say, hey, I really want to make sure I can use this at home or outside? That's second. And three, if you are someone who likes to throw parties, you're someone who have a lot of home gatherings, you got friends coming over all the times. So those are three different groups. Okay. So let me first address the first group, the casual ones. If you just use simulator, try to get good, maybe swing when there's rainy day outside, I would highly recommend you get something not as expensive. Okay. Skytrack is really good. And also Earnest Sports. Those are two companies that I would recommend you look at and or look into. Don't spend a lot of money. Anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000. They're pretty good already because you're just doing it for fun. Okay. Now, if you're someone who's a little bit serious, and if you say, "Well, I want to use something at home and outside," then I would highly recommend you guys get something like FlyScope. Okay. Well, the reason why I like FlyScope is that I think Earnest Sport also has a machine that you can bring outside and inside. But I like FlyScope's one is not as expensive as TrackMan, and two, you can bring FlyScope from indoor to outdoor. Okay. I believe um, it's very beneficial for someone who want to really get good at this sport and always training at home or outside and look at the data. If you're interested in data, of course, and the flight scope is very, very good. Don't You don't need to get the top of the line, but once you get a flight scope, you obviously need a ceiling or like a basement or a room where you can swing and build a screen, put a machine there. So I'd highly recommend this second type of group of players where you want to bring the machine outside and inside. Okay, so go with flight scope. That's a very good investment. Now, if you're someone who really want to throw parties all the time, play games at home all the time, I would recommend you guys look into Full Swing. Okay, Full Swing is also very good. I have a client, he uses a Full Swing. So, but those are really all the information that I experienced, I know, through just teaching clients and students. But I don't know a lot of extensive information and data on the simulators. But I do know there are so many different companies that you know start to sell simulators and produce simulators, and there's just a lot of them. I believe they're all good. It just really depends on your, like I say, your budget. How much money you want to spend, and what type of golfer you are. Are you a who like to throw party? Do you like to bring the machine inside, outside, just to see what it does, indoor, outdoor, and your swing? Or someone just say, I want to have something just for fun. At least I can do some stuff at home. So those are three type of the groups of guys that the type of simulators that you need to get. But as far as you know what kind, there's too many kinds out there. But I would just recommend you do a lot of research. I mentioned in this short conversation, I mentioned Full Swing, Fly Scope, Earnest Sports, and Skytrack. So those are four names that I know, and sometimes I'll recommend. All right. So that's really simulators. But to be honest with you, I believe, in my honest opinion, for me, if you ask me, obviously we have Fly Scope, but I would get something. It's just for me. If I already have Fly Scope, but if I want to say, hey, I want something that's simple, I will get something cheap, like the lower end. the $3,000 to $5,000. Just because I think sometimes when it's a rainy day, maybe I want to play around 18 holes at the indoor. So that's it. And I'm not a big party thrower. If you would say that, you use that word because I just don't have a lot to gather, and I'm never home anyways. All right, so that's that for the simulators. Um, anything else, Jason? Any more questions?
Yeah. So Jeff said he's gonna try bicycle level. He'll give it a try. And we have another question saying how to improve the feeling of golf weight and why to increase the power of golf head.
Okay. That's a very actually for Jeff, yeah, the Mavel is actually pretty good. We have a Mavel, small Mavel that I carry around that would go outside. It's a fun little gadget. I like it. So and also I think there's a Mavel Plus. So I think Jeff, you may want to look into those two things, the Mavel and the Mavel Plus. All right, clubhead speed. This is one of the most common questions I people ask me about clubhead speed. So let me stand up. The truth is, there's only one way to look into clubhead speed. Okay, if you look into clubhead speed in any other way, you'll have what I call the contradiction. So let me explain to you guys what I mean by any other way. So we already know. Let me grab my driver, right? So we already know that you can look into speed in two ways. You can either have what I call the raw power, means a lot of chest and upper body movement, a lot of arms just swing and hit it really hard, and a lot of times you will still get a lot of clubhead speed. But that's assuming that you're strong, you got very strong upper body. But that type of swing speed usually it's not consistent, which is what I call the hitting. Okay, so if you feel like your clubhead speed is coming from a lot of chest and your arms, a lot of push through, those are what I call the hitting movement. All right, and the reason why I say that is because I used to do that. When I was 19, you all know, if you guys watch this channel, and I used to be a personal trainer. I'm certified. I work out in the gym, so I got a lot of muscles. I used to weigh 185 pounds. Okay, so I was a pretty big, stocky guy. So those are the raw power, but I know from the way I learn golf now, I know those speed is not sustainable. And also, again, when I go play, it's not consistent. But now I'm already 49 years old, but my distance actually are longer than when I was younger. This is because we're already understanding when you swing the golf club, if you swing the golf club, we got a lot of lower body, weight transfer, rotational movement, and we have a lot of core movement and a lot of core rotation, right? So you can see once I move all these big muscles and creating torque and pressure, and I'm letting my arms release, this club head speed is going to be pretty fast. Because simply put, from a physics perspective, my arc and my radius is longer, right? Because if I'm standing up like this, see, my radius is longer. But if I'm just hitting it with my arms, my radius is obviously shorter. But I can use blunt force to create speed. But then again, that blunt force is a contradiction to a body because you're just not turning your body correctly. The only way to generate club head speed, again, like I say, you guys are welcome to go play golf with me. If you guys ever come around, you know, I would love to play golf with you guys. The idea is that when you generate club head speed, it has to be based on your lower body rotation and your core rotation. And also, how much are you able to recognize your muscles in your legs and your gluteus maximus and your core? How much you can recognize those muscles are creating a lot of torque and pressure. Okay, the more pressure you can create, and the more torque you can create, and also the more movement you can create, then you will create clubhead speed, the correct clubhead speed, which is going to give you more consistency. Okay, so again, that, to be honest with you, I believe that's the only way. Now, if you say, well, what about if I'm doing this and I'm turning and I do this, I feel I'm hitting it really hard, then you're creating contradiction. Because the truth is, the muscles in your shoulders, in your chest, and your back and your arms, they're not supposed to give you added power. You're not adding more power. The muscles here are just adding release. It's almost like this throwing movement. So a lot of times people say, well, it looks like most professional players, the muscles all get, I can see their muscles. I say, yeah, sure, they're using the muscles, but they're not using the muscle like the way you think they're using the muscles. They are applying speed, but not hitting it with force because their energy is coming from legs and the core. So their arms are just releasing. Okay. Because a lot of times, if you hold the club really tight, you try to hit it really hard, you're actually stopping the transmission or transmitting the energy from the center of your body. So you're not going to create club head speed. So the only way to create club head speed is from your hips, legs, pressure and torque and core muscles, your butt muscles, your inner thigh muscles here to create pressure, and then you can turn your body faster and you can release the club head speed. I mean, release the club and then create club head speed. Okay, and I know a lot of you say, "What about what if I squat down and jump up?" Those are all incorrect. Okay, just because a professional player tell you that's what they do, that's not really what they do. I mean, really, if you think about what Rory does, he would go to here. You might feel like he's jumping up, but what happens is he's creating torque because when he's turning it, any type of turning movement, that when they're turning, the body is turning, any type of lateral movement means if I'm extending it, it's just because the turning motion. And again, I talked about this before. Those guys are not squatting up and down. It's because, again, if I do this right now, if I turn this thing, as I'm turning it, it gets shrunk. So any type of sort of like up and down movement you see from a tour player is just because a byproduct of turning movement, right? You think about it. If I do this right now, if I turn this thing, it gets shortened. So because the golf swing, everybody's turning, so there is either a extension visually or compressional movement visually. So in your eyes, you feel like they might be going up and down, but they don't have time to go up and down. Okay, they only have time to rotate. So whatever up and down movement you see is just from your eyes seeing what they're doing. Is a visual based on rotation and torque. It's not because they're squatting up and down. So that's one of the I truly believe is the myth. Most people say, well, they're squatting up and down. No, they're not, because they really don't have time. If you can do this, you have no time to rotate. You can only rotate, okay? Because in a three-dimensional world, because golf is 3D, you can only rotate. Now, they're good players. So they're in the 3D world and they're rotating really well so they can make money by playing golf. But most amateurs, you don't rotate, you go up and down because you use what I call the 2D power, a lot of pushing and pulling movement. That's why your score is inconsistent and you're not able to control anything. So the only way to create power and clubhead speed is train your hips and your core. And the truth is, hopefully, time flies, right? I'm 49 years old. 10 years from now, I will be 59. Hopefully, I believe it can happen. I'm going to train myself and do the right thing. And I'm going to show you guys at that age, Now, again, I'm not a big guy and a tall guy. At that age, I can still maintain a 250 yards of carry. And that's really my personal goal. Meaning, I'm going to continue to train the big muscles to make sure they know how to move correctly, create torque. And I want to be able to swing 200 yards, 250 yards carry when I'm 59. And that's my personal goal. All right. So, Jason, any more questions?
No, that's it. And
Yeah.
we're actually at 45 minutes point, and I scheduled this to be 1 hour.
Right.
And because our Chinese one starts at 10:15.
Yeah. So, just also kind of personal news. I know a lot of you I've been asking me. A lot of times when you take lessons from me, you ask me about the one length irons. So I actually personally don't know how to answer that question because it's so different. It's something I have never personally experienced, right? So I decided to do this. So if you guys watch my set right now, okay, I actually went I to got this set of clubs, okay. These are all one length irons, okay. I have 7 of those, okay, one length. They're all one length, okay. So the reason why I get this because a lot of you ask me a question about one length, but I don't know how to answer questions correctly. So that's the reason why I went out there, got this set, and I'm gonna play this set. I don't know how long, but at least I know. Okay, now if someone asks me about one length irons, I know what to say. Okay, so I got this set of irons, and they are. I mean, I play with them a couple rounds now. I don't mind it. There's definitely some adaptation. Something you need to do to get comfortable because the 5 iron. Let me see, where's the 5 iron? There you go. There's the 5 iron, right? The 5 iron. Well, that's 6. There's 5. Okay, here's the 5 iron. Okay, the 5 iron and this pitching wedge, right? Yep, pitching wedge. They're the exact same length. Okay, so it's definitely feeling funny when I first got them, like a couple weeks ago. But like I say, the reason why I got this is I really want to know what it feels like to play them, and also to answer a lot of your questions, because this is one area I don't have experience. Now, obviously, if they are golf clubs, I also swing with them and also release with them. But the idea is that they're same length from a visual and playing ability perspective. I don't know, right? So I want to play with this for about a year or two, and so that way, if you guys have any questions regarding the one length, always send me. You can send me questions via email, and then I will keep you guys updated and keep track of on how I do with this. Okay, I actually at the moment, like I said, I play with them about a couple rounds. I don't mind it; it doesn't bother me, but it does take some time to get used to, and also the obviously the distance are different. Okay, the distance different, and I also got some different shafts, so I'm trying to get used to the shaft a little bit. But mainly, I'm trying to get used to the length of the club. It definitely looks pretty funny when you look down on the pitching wedge or gap wedge. That's the same length as my 5 iron, and the 5 iron is actually shorter by 2 inch, maybe an inch or 2 inch. I think about an inch than my regular 5 iron. Well, you know what? Since we're talking about it, I didn't even measure it. And also some crazy news. Let me see the 5 iron and my other 5 iron. What's the length difference? Yeah, it's about an inch. I would say the difference is an inch, but they look very different when you look down on it. So also I'm crazy enough. I ordered some wedges, a 54-degree and a 58-degree wedges, because the irons I actually extend them an inch longer. So in other words, this is a wedge. This is a wedge. I extend the wedge about like the 8 iron length, just because the set. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play. But at the moment, I don't hate them. I kind of like it, but I don't love them. It's just because I haven't get comfortable play with them. But I'll keep you guys update on how the one length club's doing. And but let's go out there and play some golf, have fun, and energy first, impact later. All right. So Jason, anything else you want to add?
No, not yet.
Yes, and again, we're gonna keep everybody updated regarding the certification. Okay. The truth is, a lot of you will say, I'm just gonna add this. A lot of you say, well, what makes you want to do this? What is Energy First Impact Later? What is Apple Golf? What is Energy First Golf? And the truth is, like I say, our principle Energy First Impact Later, and we're getting people support, and they want to, and we actually have people ask us, hey, do you have golf coaches in our area that teaches Energy First Impact Later? And that was the reason why, me and Jason talked about this. Hey, because now people are asking. It's almost like, hey, do you have a local PGA coach that I can hire? So people ask us, say, hey, do you have a local FO golf coach that we can hire or we can go to take lessons? And that was the reason why. It wasn't out of the blue say, hey, let's do this, because we had requests and we have people asking and in requesting, and they want to find out if we have coaches around the world, and that's the reason why. So hopefully this will be our next endeavor and next sort of the next phase as a whole teaching system and a company, and moving forward from here on. So very exciting, and again, thank you for your support. I really enjoy this live stream time, then talking to you guys and just do this. I know right now, it's people are just doing things, we're not getting a lot of, but hopefully this is will be, it's going to be on the YouTube channel and you can watch whenever you like. All right. So Jason, that's it, right?
Yes.
All right, very good. So thank you guys, and I will see you next time.